The Russian church has many wonderful traditions, and one of them, which in many ways strikes at their particular way of praying and also doing theology particularly aptly, is that of the Eurodivi, or the Holy Fools for Christ. It pops up as a motif often in literature. If you're a fan of Dostoevsky, you'd see the Mad Monk in the Brothers Karamazov, etc. And these figures are fascinating because they are deliberately seeking to be considered fools. They do strange things, crazy things, in the hope that they'll be rejected by men and women, that they might live more like Christ did at the end of his days, rejected, spurned. As Peter says, the stone the builders have rejected, quoting the Old Testament itself. They like to live that way, be in the habit of seeking the rejection of others, that they might more closely align with Jesus Christ. Now, we can't all get around living like the Eurodivi. It'll be a very difficult place to live, any community. But nonetheless, in that Orthodox tradition, and we have it in ours as well, they're wonderful reminders that our job is not to be acceptable to our peers, to our culture. It's not to accommodate to the extent that we lose who we are as Catholics. In fact, quite often, every time we follow Jesus Christ, we will suffer for him. In the Western tradition, we have plenty of examples of saints who have tried to emulate Christ, seeking or being willing to accept that rejection of the world. And there are many who've been rejected by their own church. The Curé d'Ars, one of the John Vianney, the most wonderful confessor, he'd have these queues miles long, people coming to hear let him hear their confession, and he'd often know their sins before they spoke. He'd know the ones they'd left out as well. Extraordinary supernatural gifts. He was knocked back many times from the seminary. In the end, it took him so many years to pass the exams because he wasn't academically gifted. But he got there. St. Joseph of Cupertino, one of the great Franciscan mystics, was also rejected time and time again. St. Stanislaus Kostka, by abbots, until he eventually found a wise abbot who let him join the monastery. St. Stanislaus Kostka, the young Jesuit saint, dead at 18, walked from Vienna to Rome in the middle of winter, trying to find a Jesuit province that would accept him. His reasons were a little bit different because his father was a very powerful nobleman and kept blocking poor old Stanislaus entering religious life, the Jesuits anyway. Eventually, he went all the way to the general in Rome, and the general realized this young man was the real deal and accepted him into the novitiate. He was dead a year later. The point of all this, I suppose, is that in life, the church, outside the church, the importance of sticking to your mission and being prepared to be rejected, even by those who are doing it for good reasons, in inverted commas, or prudent reasons, or bureaucratic reasons, to realize that the Holy Spirit can blow through institutions, can insist, and can also provide us wise leaders who realize that sometimes the letter of the law gets in the way of the spirit of the law. So I'm not suggesting you necessarily have to act crazy on the way home, but there's something about being prepared to be despised by the world. And if we're in the habit of not seeking the flattery of princes, the approval of the world, then the Holy Spirit can actually break through, give us that gift of integrity to live with and like Jesus Christ.